Anacondas are the largest snakes on Earth, and they roam the dense, wild terrain of the Amazon. These massive reptiles have been known to devour animals as large as goats, deer, and even crocodiles. But what one of them decided to take on something even bigger, like a human, as strange as it sounds, someone actually tried to find out. In 2014, a man willingly tested this idea. Dressed in a heavy pig's blood-covered suit, he allowed an anaconda to attempt swallowing him. For about an hour, the snake tried to engulf the bulky headpiece, but in the end, it failed to consume him. Had it succeeded, the question becomes, how could an anaconda manage to eat a full-grown adult? Imagine you're trekking through the Amazon, and you encounter one of these monstrous creatures. Green anacondas can grow up to 9 meters long, about 30 feet, and weigh as much as 225 kilograms, 500 pounds. At first glance, you might assume you'd make a nice snack, especially since a typical small meal for an anaconda weighs around 18 kilograms, 40 pounds. If they managed to swallow someone your size, it could keep them fed for weeks. However, meals exceeding 45 kilograms, 100 pounds, are generally too much for them. Humans, being tall and broad, take too long to consume. That kind of effort could leave the snake exposed to danger for weeks or even months during the digestion process. Still, suppose one decided to go for it. What then? First, the anaconda wouldn't begin swallowing right away. Being a constrictor, it would kill you by coiling its muscular body around you and applying over 9,000 pounds of pressure. This would crush your body quickly and fatally, but for the sake of exploration, let's say you somehow survive the constriction phase. The next step in the process is for the snake to open its jaw unnaturally wide to begin swallowing you whole. Unlike other animals, anacondas don't chew. Their sharp, backward-curving fangs are used only to grip and hold prey, not tear it apart. Fortunately, they aren't venomous, so you wouldn't be paralyzed or poisoned during this. However, you'd be met with a mouthful of sticky, thick saliva. This slime helps coat your body and makes it easier for the snake to slide you down into its throat. As you move through the esophagus, powerful muscle contractions would push you farther along the digestive tract. To aid this process, the anaconda can even bend and shift its ribs to apply more pressure and force you down into its stomach. Once inside the stomach, things get truly horrific. Still hypothetically alive, you'd now be surrounded by stomach acid and digestive enzymes. These fluids are extremely potent and would begin dissolving your skin almost immediately. For reference, an anaconda once digested an alligator's skin in just 3 days. So, your flesh wouldn't stand a chance. As you break down further and pass into the small intestine, additional enzymes from the liver and pancreas would continue the process. By this point, only your hair and nails would remain undigested. Even if you wore a futuristic acid-proof suit, you wouldn't escape the process unharmed. It would still take weeks for the anaconda to fully pass you through its system. And during that time, with no access to food or air, you'd likely starve. Realistically, such an encounter is incredibly rare. Anacondas don't usually try to eat humans. They're simply too large to be practical prey. Most of the time, these snakes are just defending themselves when they lash out. So it's best to leave anacondas alone. If you tried to confront one, odds are you wouldn't survive the encounter. And if you think that's wild, just wait until we talk about whales and why jumping into their stomachs is also a terrible idea.